こんにちは、ちゃんぽんです。
レイムよ。
マリサだぜ。タングルタワー、続きをやっていくよ。前回で塔の内部の調査は一旦終わり、今回は外の調査から始めていくよ。
玄関を通り過ぎた、石畳の広場からね。
お、誰かいるんだぜ。あれが多分、話に出てきてたホークショーか？
右にも何か施設があるわね。
Wow, nice cape.
You're not fellows or pointers. I'm sure I shall immediately regret asking. But who are you, and what is your business here?
I'm Sally, and this is my sidekick Grimoire.
A private detective, Grimoire.
Really? You're a detective. If this is a joke, it's not a good one.
Who are you, anyway?
Private Detective Hawkshaw.
Oh, nice. Hawkshaw's a cooler name than Grimoire. Maybe I'll become her sidekick.
You're not on the Freya Fellow case, too, are you?
That is classified information between myself and my client. Clearly, this is something which eludes you. But a real detective refrains from handing out informations to persons unknown.
Oh, right.
Now, if you would, I have work to do. It's not in my interest to discuss personal details.
Even if you're one of the suspects in a murder?
Very well. Let us make a small exception. Ask.
Oh, what are you doing here?
I'm on a case at the behest of my client.
How long have you been at Tangle Tower?
133 hours. 5.5 days.
Who are you working for?
I am not at liberty to answer that. Now, I shall permit you one more question.
What crime are you—
How'd you get that scar? It's cool.
You really think so?
やっぱりフレイヤの事件でここに来てるわけではないんだな。
As it happens, I completed an examination of Flora's room on the morning before the murder. I've been investigating every single room at Tangle Tower. Hers was one of the last on my list.
Did you find anything unusual?
Nothing but a thin layer of dust and an atmosphere of somber melancholy.
Was Flora in there at the time?
She spent the duration of my search staring up at the sky, out the open window. Didn't say a word, although I'm told this is the expected behavior.
What did you do after that?
I spent the early evening searching the library. It took longer than it should have. Fiona leaves that room in a permanent state of disarray.
Fiona was in the library too?
I expected her to make an appearance, but she did not.
And you stayed in the library the rest of the day?
Not quite.
一瞬のすれ違いだったのね。
タイミングによっては犯人と出くわしてたんだぜ。
Towards the early evening, my examination of the library was unexpectedly disrupted. Sounds of running, wailing, shouting from several floors above. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared. He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the Fellow staircase. Our eyes met. He was breathless. Something had caused him great alarm. He told me to stay out of the way. I consented. I decided to return to my office in the stone square. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. She was clutching the banister of the Pointer staircase with an apprehensive manner. She wished to know where Professor Pointer had gone. I told her what had transpired. Then, she too crossed the hall and disappeared up the Fellow staircase. More so than at any moment prior, I felt like quite an intruder in the house. I took my leave, out towards the stone square. The grounds were silent. There were no signs of human life. Even the greenhouse was without its typical inhabitant. I noted that he, too, must be entangled in whatever was transpiring in Fellow Tower. An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance. He spoke to me of what had occurred. His report was as clumsy and cumbersome as the man giving it.
Did he seem upset?
He was rattled. That much was clear. But sorrowful, mournful, I cannot say.
これもここまでの証言と一致するな。周りと証言がずれてれば、そこを疑っていけるんだけどな。
Bushes. You ever see a mushroom that big?
Not in real life.
現実では、他の何かで見たことがあるってこと？
アニメとかじゃないのかな。
Is that a clock?
If it is, it's a clock with 4 faces.
I'm guessing it doesn't tell the time.
So what does it do?
これもパズルか、いろいろ記号が書いてあるんだぜ。
パッと見じゃちょっとわかんねえなこれも。
記号だけど、右から2番目のやつは、2に見えない？
あ、それはそうかも。これあれか、空間補完効果ってやつだな。
なんだぜそれは。
隙間を埋めることで、実際に繋がってなくても線が繋がったように見える、錯覚現象だね。
へえ、そういうのがあるのか。
言うてこれ金田一からの受け売りだけどね。
別にあんた金田一と知り合いじゃないでしょ。
ただ、他も全部数字なのかどうかっていうのはちょっとわからないな。でも、他のノーヒントのパズルと比べたら、これはまだわかりやすいかも。
ここには音質もあるし、その辺を調べてからまた来てもいいかもな。
There's a metal plaque on the bench.
Is there a message engraved on it?
I think there was at one point, but someone scratched it off. A pointless little stone tower.
I don't know. Might be a good hiding place.
Want to play hide and seek?
I could be persuaded.
It's a sea serpent, turned into stone by a wizard.
If you say so. What happened to its head?
Beheaded. By the same wizard.
この辺のオブジェもなんか意味あるのかなとか思っちゃうよね。
It's Tangle Tower. Or at least it's the mansion at the base of Tangle Tower. A giant glowing gemstone full of plants.
AKA a greenhouse. A wooden trunk that opens up into a full desk.
I want one.
トランク兼机ってこと？それ私も欲しいわ。めっちゃかさばりそうなんだぜ。
It's a big stone dais.
Biggest one I've ever seen. First one too.
These plants are giving off a relaxing...
I didn't know we were supposed to be smelling things.
よし、だいたい調べたかな。ここにもパズルがあることは覚えとこうね。
じゃあこのまま音質に行きましょうか。なんか、見たこともない植物で溢れてるんだぜ。変な虫もいるわね。
あそこにいるのって。
怖すぎでしょ。なんであんな影に隠れてるんだぜ。
Sally, don't move. We're being watched.
Yeah, I see him. He's a little too big to hide in the bushes. Is anyone going to say anything? Or shall we just stand around staring at each other?
Right, sorry.
Sorry.
That's better. I'm Sally. And the guy hiding behind me is Detective Grimoire. Who are you?
Fitz Fellow, the gardener.
Mm-hmm. And why are you so tall?
I don't know.
これがフィッツか、確かに大柄だな。
You work here as the gardener.
I don't get paid to do it. It's just my area of interest.
What's the deal with the plants? They're all kinda weird.
Right. Did you see the lake?
That giant green and purple lake surrounding the entire house? Yeah, I clocked it.
The color is just a byproduct.
Of what? Poison?
It's not poisonous. Not to you.
What's this got to do with the plants?
The water controls all life, just like anywhere else on the planet. Clouds form, rain falls. The water grows the plants, animals eat the plants. Anything you've perceived as an irregularity is simply a result of this hydrological cycle.
Could you say that again, but like, condense it, as if you were talking to a slightly stupid person?
Our lake water causes the unpredictable alteration of DNA. Sometimes.
Alteration? Like mutation?
That'd be the official term. For us, it's normal. Just nature.
And you're the local expert on all this stuff?
No. I'm just the gardener.
そんな地域なら、もっと有名になってもいいはずだけど。
研究者たちがこぞって集まるだろうに。
I was in my greenhouse, watering and weeding.
Sounds exciting.
Was anyone else around?
Not at first. Penelope came in a little later. She likes looking at the flowers, I think.
Did you speak to each other?
A little, not too much. We both left the greenhouse in the early afternoon. I went up to my room. Then I came back outside to weed the main gardens. Didn't see anyone else. After that, I went up to the garden outside my room.
And?
Let me guess. Watering and weeding.
Right.
Did anything happen to you yesterday, Fitz?
さて、次の供述で一応全員の証言が集まるんだぜ。
I was up in the rooftop garden. It was quiet. And then, it wasn't. I can't describe it. Could have been a scream, but it didn't sound human. We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
We?
Poppy was with me. Did I not mention that? Flora's room was locked. That's normal. She usually locks it from the inside. I knocked on the door and shouted. Nobody responded. We became concerned.
You kicked the door down?
I did. Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back. Flora was there too, but I barely noticed her at first. Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too. Penelope arrived shortly after that, with Felix in tow. I thought that was odd. You don't normally see the two of them together. Felix took charge. There was nothing else I could do to help. I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything. I found her pacing back and forth around the stone square. When I approached her, she snapped at me. I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
なるほど、これも特に食い違いがあるわけじゃなさそうだな。
Fitz's room is unlocked. It's up in the Fellow Tower.
This could be interesting.
That's all the statements.
Let's go over them all.
お、これは先に見直しておきたいんだぜ。そうね、二人の方でまとめてくれるんならその方がいいわ。
本質も忘れずに調べようね。サリーにハテナが浮かんでるな。
That's all the statements collected. Let's run through them all, to see if anything doesn't add up.
To see if anyone's been lying.
That too.
Fitz and I were up in the moonlight garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds.
We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. So I made Fitz kick down the door.
Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back.
I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall.
But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs.
I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared.
I didn't know what to do. So I ran downstairs to get Fifi.
I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room.
Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it, until the someone began shouting at me.
Eventually, she let me in.
I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library.
He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the Fellow staircase. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me.
I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the Fellow Tower.
I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry.
I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face.
I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter.
We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs.
I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path.
Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her.
Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too.
Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did.
A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya.
Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting.
She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes.
I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything.
An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance.
I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
That's disappointing.
What is?
All the statements line up with each other.
They don't just line up. Some of them even seem to specifically confirm each other.
ったくだよほんと。互いが互いの証言を補完し合ってて、全然穴らしいところも見つからないじゃないか。
参ったわね。これからの聞き取りで矛盾が見つかればいいんだけど。
ひとまず先に温室の調査を済ませるんだぜ。それから考えても遅くはないだろ。そうだな、フィッツの部屋も空いたみたいだし。
This one's in a little pot.
Okay, that is definitely not edible.
It looks like a gemstone, don't you think?
いかにも食用じゃありませんって感じの植物なんだぜ。宝石のような見た目ね。
これも青い土に埋められてるのね。
That's a handsome beetle. Looks like he might have magic powers. Hanging baskets. They're so high up.
To you, maybe.
You're only 2 inches taller than me.
2 inches makes all the difference. Is that fruit? It's shaped like fruit.
Too shiny to be fruit. I think it's glowing a little too.
Safe to eat, do you think?
I'm gonna say no. Tools. Used by a gardener. For gardening.
It's bigger in here than I thought it would be. It's glass, but I can't see through it.
Total oxymoron.
I am not.
A little chart of, actually, I have no idea what it's about.
うわお、またよくわからんのが出てきたな。図書室ならまだしも、温室には似つかわしくないんだぜ。
これ、ギリシャ文字でしょ？何か意味のある並びだとは思うんだけど。
数字を順番に辿っていっても、文字自体の順番はバラバラだよな。とりあえず、文字が7つあるっていうのは覚えておくか。
Kinda reminds me of a periodic table.
What do you make of it?
Not a whole lot.
温室で目立つものはこれぐらいかな。
証言の件も気になるけど、まずは全部行けるところを回るのが先かしらね。
次はフィッツの部屋から回るんだぜ。じゃあ、今回の動画はこの辺で、ご視聴ありがとうございました。
チャンネル登録と高評価、各種アカウントのフォローも、ぜひよろしくね。
再生とコメントもありがとうなんだぜ。次回の動画をお楽しみに。さよなら、さよなら、さよなら。